Wow. Wow, thank you very much. I don't think I've ever been introduced before as the one and the only. Though I think I can give most of the credit to my awkward last name and the fact that most people have trouble saying it, and then I'm probably the only Adam van Koeverden in the world anyways. So I didn't have to start kayaking in order to do that. But I just want to thank everybody here for allowing me to be here today. Thank you to Deloitte, and thank you to the Canadian Olympic Committee for everything they've done to allow this to go off and have this Olympic association with your meeting today. I think it's absolutely fantastic. It gives us an opportunity to thank the people of Deloitte and everybody that was involved in putting on such a fantastically successful Games, not only for the medalists and the athletes that took part, but for all 36 million Canadians. It was a really, really incredible event, one that brought us all together. I've never seen as much red being worn in any city in Canada, and watching the news every night and seeing the fanaticism and the sincere enthusiasm of Canada cheering on our Olympians was such a wonderful thing for me. As a Summer Olympian, we have a challenge ahead of us. Definitely, it's going to be tough to live up to the Olympic standard put on by our athletes in Vancouver, and it's one that we're taking very seriously and approaching day by day as we approach the 2012 Olympics in London. Obviously, we don't expect to win the Olympics, and that's as a team. I mean, as individuals, it's a different goal entirely. But it's a challenge to sort of refocus after all of that, after seeing all of that, and see that goal of winning come to fruition, seeing a goal materialize after years and years of expectation and preparation was really, really amazing for me. I started kayaking in 1995. The video already told you that. I was 13 years old, and the reason I went down to the canoe club was not because I wanted to be an athlete, or I was a terrible athlete. I didn't make any of the team sports at my school. I tried out for volleyball, basketball, soccer, hockey, swimming. I didn't make any of those teams, but I did make the cross-country team, and that's because everybody makes the cross-country team. No phys ed teacher is going to tell you you're not allowed to run, right? Yeah, there's a woods right there. There's a forest. You can run. You can run around in circles if you like. And so I did. I started running a little bit and realized that I had some aerobic capacity, but not anything special. I wasn't distinguishing myself as an athlete whatsoever. So when I got down to the canoe club, I realized I had an opportunity to be the best at my school in something, in a sport. Because on the first day I was the only kayaker at St. John's Elementary. So by default, much like my last name, I was already the one and only kayaker at St. John's Elementary. Not long after, I started making goals. When I went down to the canoe club, I was an awkward, I'm not tall, I'm 5'11", but I was an awkwardly tall 12, 13-year-old. I was 5'10" and about the same size I am now. So the coaches were kind of excited to hear that this 13-year-old who was 5'10" and 175 pounds was walking in the door, and I went with my mom and later my dad, who's 6'2" and massive, nothing like me at all, and they're like, "Oh, this kid's going to be great." And I stayed the same size and trained really, really hard, and the coaches always had my back, and even as I continued to not grow. And slowly I set goals for myself, and those goals were primarily just to be the best paddler I could be. And that's always been my goal. I sort of have that as my foundation goal, just to be the best that I can be. And just to produce the best possible race that I can produce every time I get on the line. But obviously everybody likes tangible results. That's why we're here today. That's why everybody's here today, because everybody likes something in writing, tangible results. The most gold medals at the Olympic Games. The most gold medals at any winter home Olympic Games. That was a tangible goal. And I needed a tangible goal of something like I need to finish first in a race. So I had a first race coming up. I started in September, so I had a whole season, a whole off-season to train. So when I went to my first race, I was by no means new to the sport. I'd been doing it for 8 months. So I went to this local regatta in Richmond Hill. We have anybody from Richmond Hill? Markham? No? Okay, fine. I'm from Oakville. Anybody from Oakville? Yeah, thank you. All right. So my first race was on this little tiny lake, Lake Wilcox in Richmond Hill, and it was 500 meters. And I lined up and I went as hard as I could, and I won the thing. And I was really, really impressed. And I brought this little keychain medal that we got to my grade 8 class to show my teacher that I was actually an athlete, believe it or not. I can't shoot a basketball to save my life. I can't serve a volleyball. I can't do anything, but I can win a kayak race, see? And she was like, yeah, whatever. And thankfully I was going to high school the next year, so I didn't have to impress her any longer. But the goals kept mounting, and I don't have too much time. so I can't, cram my whole career into 6 minutes, and why would you want to hear it anyways? But what I do want to express is the impact that private funding and private money can have on a young athlete's career, and the transition that's taken place in Canada with the corporate investment that companies like Deloitte have made, and the impact that that's have had, like with Own the Podium and B210 and all the fantastic programs that exist now. In 2002, there wasn't an Own the Podium. I went to the World Championships in 2002, and I had to be top 8 by 2003 in order to qualify for the Olympics. Our international qualifying standard is more difficult than the national qualifying standard. It's the only sport that actually demands more internationally than nationally. So you can be the best kayaker in Canada and not go to the Olympics. I was the second best kayaker in 2000, and I didn't go to the Olympics. And that's just the fact of our sport. There are very few kayakers that get to go to the Olympics, and it's a very prestigious thing to be able to say that you have been, because so few actually end up going. So in 2002, I went to the World Championships hoping to come in top 8, because in 2003, if I wasn't top 8, then I simply wasn't going. And I came in 13th, and the year before I was 16th. So I did some quick math and said, well, it seems that I'm getting about 4 spots better every year. That's pretty good. But if I get 4 spots better next year, I'll be 9th, and I won't be going to the Olympics. So I came home to my coach, Scott Oldershaw in Burlington, and I said, look, we've got to do something different. We have to change the formula. We have to change the program. What do you think we should do? And he said, look, I've been training you as hard as I've trained any athlete. I've been pushing you as hard as I know how, and I've been giving you all the information I have. I have no card in my back pocket. I have no joker. I have no secret weapons. If you want to learn more, then you have to go to the source. Go train with the best kayakers in the world. So I said, okay, that's great, but I'm broke, so what do I do? And I'm in university, and I'm studying hard. So I went to all my university professors, and I said, I need to go to Australia for 6 weeks. I'm going to miss 6 weeks of class. Will you support me? And some of them said no, so I dropped their class. Some of them said yes. So I asked them if there was any other university professors they knew who might support me, because I just dropped 2 classes. So maybe tell me, point me in the direction of their offices so I could go and ask if I can late add their course. And luckily I found 4 professors that were very supportive. And I went down to Australia on, I borrowed money from my younger brother. And my aunt bought a plane ticket for me, and I just borrowed and borrowed and borrowed. And I slept on a cement floor on a little mattress this thick for $50 a week, and I trained as hard as I could. I borrowed a bike from the guy next door in Australia, and I got a free boat, which was a piece of crap. It didn't go straight. And I did everything I could to get on the water with the best guys in the morning, and it was a little bit sketchy, actually. I'd get on the water really early, 6 a.m., and just kind of sit there and wait for the best groups to get on the water, make it look like I was doing something, not just sitting and waiting. And when the Swedish team got on the water, 2 Olympic champions in that crew, I'd go, oh, hey, guys, my group's not here yet. Do you think I could join you? Like, yeah, sure. Why are you sweating? Have you been out here for more than like 10 minutes? It's only 6:30. Yeah, no, I have been out. Yeah. Can I come? Can I please come? And they'd say yes. They were very, very friendly. I guess you guys have lots of Swedish employees as well, and you know how friendly and dry and cold the Swedes can be sometimes. But I have lots and lots of great Swedish friends, and I made lots of great Swedish friends on that trip. And came home a little bit faster because of the camaraderie that other teams showed me down there in Australia. And when I came home, I trained with the Norwegian team down in Florida, and they invited me to Norway. And they said there was one catch: Norway's super expensive. If you want to come, then you're going to need to bring some money, because a hotel and food and stuff is going to cost you more than it will at home. So I got off the water, dragging my paddle across the field towards my coach, saying, I just got invited to a training camp in Norway, and it's exactly what I need to keep on this trajectory. I'm getting faster every single day, but I can't afford it. It's going to be way too expensive. And a guy sitting there named Craig Jobber was sitting right next to my coach, a longtime friend of my canoe club, and he goes, well, how much money do you need? I was like, I don't know. It's going to be really expensive. So the next day he came back to me and he said, hey, I got a plan for you. You want to qualify for the Olympics? It's going to happen in the next 6 months, right? I said, yeah, if I qualify, it'll happen in the next 6 months. It's like, next 6 months, I'm going to give you $500 a month. If you qualify for the Olympics, I'll make it $1,000 until you get to the Olympics. How's that sound? I was like, sure, but what do I owe you? He's like, an Olympic medal. I was like, okay, I'm just trying to get to the Olympics, Craig. I don't know who you've been talking to, but anyways, so I took that money, thankfully, and I was like, I'm not promising anything. I'm not putting it in writing, but I'm going to train as hard as I can. And long story short, I trained that summer and came in 2nd rather than 8th. We reevaluated everything that I was doing, and my coach said, you're not just going to the Olympics, you're going to win now. And I couldn't have done it if it wasn't for Craig Jobber. I wouldn't have gone to Norway, and I wouldn't have gotten those 3 seconds out of the next 3 months of training. And now we've got organizations like Own the Podium and B210 and so many others ensuring that athletes, Canadian athletes, have what we need in order to accomplish our dreams and our goals, which turn into Canada's dreams and Canada's goals, because those rest on our shoulders sometimes. And that's something that we're willing to accept. That responsibility and obligation to our country is something that we're willing to accept. And at the end of the day, it's supposed to be fun, and it is fun. And if I didn't love kayaking, then I wouldn't get in my boat every morning, especially not on mornings like this when it was pouring rain, and I had to sit on the highway for 30 minutes to get to practice because there's a traffic jam. And then once we did, the ducks weren't even out this morning. That's how rainy it was. They were at home. I don't know where they were. But I want to thank Deloitte again for the sincere contributions that you've made to the Canadian Olympic movement. It makes a huge difference for us. And as we approach our next challenge, the London Olympics, thank you for your continued support. Oh, and I also want to thank Deloitte for something incredible that you've done. You've made a charitable contribution to the David Suzuki Foundation in my name for being here today. And I don't live far from here, so it was really nothing, but thank you very much. For making that contribution. The David Suzuki Foundation and Right to Play are two causes that I feel very, very strongly about. David Suzuki just put out a movie during the Toronto International Film Festival. It's called Forces of Nature, and it's going to come out in theaters and then on DVD early in October. So if I can plug that a little bit, unshamelessly. It's not COC business, but then go see it if you like the environment, because that's where I work, and that's where we all live. So thank you very much for your attention today. Cheers.
Really appreciate it. Alan.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Really great. Terrific.
Can I use the right podium?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, good.
Adam, on behalf of the Deloitte leaders here this morning and all of our employees across the country, around the world, thank you. Your story of drive and determination, clearly inspirational for everybody. I don't know if you know, but as I was researching you, obviously Googling you just to do a bit of an introduction, or a thank you here. I don't know if you know what comes up at the top, but it's actually a reference to mostbeautifulman.com.
You've already called me the one and only, and you've already given me 2 standing ovations. Are you trying to get me to leave with like this enormous ego? Like, I'm already told it's big enough, so please cut it out. Thank you.
I'm just being honest. More importantly, I noticed something else, and you touched on it briefly, but I think it's worth mentioning. An accomplishment that really the opening video introduction didn't give really mention of, and that is while competing at the highest level and training at the highest level of sport, Adam was going to university, as you were mentioning, at McMaster, and he graduated from there in 2007, I believe, right between the Athens Olympics and the Beijing Olympics, and we all know that you won medals in both of those Olympic Games. And more incredible than that, you were selected, I believe, as the valedictorian of your graduating class. So not only were you top of your class, you were top of your sport.
Sometimes they select valedictorians for other reasons than the best grades.
I'm just trying to
I was fortunate enough to have some very good study partners, so that when I was on the road, I'd receive emails from them and the professor knew that contained all the information from lecture, and I was by no means the best student at McMaster, not even close. Thank you, but I've got to set that straight. I was selected because I was a 2-time Olympic medalist at the time. Period. Deloitte period at the end.
I like that. Adam, thank you for being a role model for youth in Canada, around the world, and for inspiring us all here this morning.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you.